Right, we have indeed. And it's actually not any of the leopards we've been looking for this morning. It seems to be Hukumuri is back. Now, it's very pretty as he's walking through that grass. We have got two other vehicles in a sighting with us, so we need to try and navigate through them. I had no idea exactly what was going on because there's something very wrong with this car's radios today. The volumes are going up, they're going down, they're going up, they're going down, which is making it extremely difficult for me to hear what is actually going on in Final Control, and then, well, also on the Game Drive channel. But I did see his tracks. I'm going to jump front. I did see his tracks. I wonder if those were the ones that we had at Gallagher, but his tracks were right over the top of mine because I saw as we came into the sighting where I'd stopped in reverse because there were no more coming up that way. He may have just been sitting there waiting. Cool, I'm going to just stop here. Here he comes. Just having a look at him. A big, beautiful cat. And we'll just watch him as he goes past. I still haven't had one stare from him. There we go. Doing what he typically does do. Walking on termite mounds. He's got the most beautiful eyes, doesn't he? So there he goes. Now we'll just sneak around again before he gets too far in front of us. See, this is where we've got the upper hand. Watch yourself here. It's not a... No. I hit a stump. That was a stump. This is the only thing. Okay, we're going under, Seb. Just underneath the bush willow, but we did go straight into a stump. That was fun. I almost broke my arm on the steering wheel. You okay, Seb? Oh, no. What are you talking about? That's being a bit dramatic. You've got a flat thing to land on here. It would have been perfect. This is not nice. Okay, I'm just going to wait for him to cross the road, and then you're going to see we're going to lose him in 2 seconds, and I'm going to reverse. I'm not going to switch the car off because we're going to lose him. So let's go back. And just poke my nose this way. And we'll watch him walk away. There we go. Go up the termite mound, big boy. So we are on the Power Lines Road now, which is a road lined with power lines, and it's not very long before we hit the boundary, so we'll try and stick with him. Cheryl, yes, he does look in great condition, doesn't he? He's looks nice and fat. Sorry, I haven't actually even had a proper chance to have a look at him at all. We'll hopefully get a moment now. Everyone's going to go around. I'm not going to try and compete with the photographers today. I'm going to let them have the front view. I think if we just stick behind him, just like that, how long that tail is, we'll probably be okay. These guys obviously don't want to take photos of his rear end. We won't mind. But I think this is going to be the only opportunity for us to be able to view him properly, as if we actually just tail him along the road and let them zip on around and get the beautiful front shots that they're obviously after. There we go. I can hear Villiers, one of the photographic guides, saying to his guests, just bear with us, we're just going to get up ahead of him because we want to take front shots, exactly what I've just said to you, which is quite funny. And he's just taking it easy. He's not marching. He's actually moving at the slowest pace I think I've ever seen him move, which is unusual. Normally, he's always got a bit of a beat to his step. There we go. It's so thick at the moment. I bet everybody's excited for, of course, winter. Anyways, well, Ralph has succeeded in finding his absolute favorite animal. Let's go and see if you know what it is. We're about to lose him again. I think we're going to have to try and come to us as quick as possible. We're going to have to reposition again. There he goes. He's obviously on the move, and he's moving exceptionally quickly at the moment. We're just getting little gaps of him all the time, but we'll try and catch up to him again. We will do our absolute best. I am going to have to concentrate on the road in front of me, though, otherwise Sebastian and I are going to start breaking bones. It is so thick in here. And we are trying to get up ahead of him so we don't have to move around so much. He doesn't look like he's interested in hunting right now, but of course leopards are opportunistic feeders, and he might be walking and then see something around and take that opportunity, but for the moment he's just scent marking everywhere. I think he's re-establishing himself up here on Djuma. Okay, Seb, are you ready to go through the little archway? Okay, this one is not nice. Oh, here he comes. That's perfect. We'll take a quick gap over here. Here he goes. You are going to hear the serious shutter of many cameras. You're going to hear brrrr when the other vehicles get quite close to us, so I do apologize for that. It's not me taking photos this time. I'm honest with all of you. I always tell you when I'm going to take a sneaky picture. There you go, lifting his tail up again. Scent marking is just behind that bush row. There are all the very excited photographic guests. This is what I'm hearing at the moment. Walking through the golden grass. Very pretty. The grass is, however, a bit long. There we go. Now we're going to have to catch him again. Okay, Seb, watch this one, because that's not a nice one. So what's your bro, huh? Hey! Oh my goodness! Hukumuri, stop going so quickly! And he's not walking fast either. It's just that it's so easy for him to move through on these small animal networks than it is for us to try and crash through in a big car. He's still going. I've still got him. I'm trying to actually keep one tire on this animal path that I'm on now because it's helping me a little bit. Wait, a little hole. We also need to watch out for big aardvark burrows. Okay. Oh, hallelujah, road. Woo! I'm so excited. There's a road. He's gonna pop out on the road. Okay, Seb, last little archway. Breathe in, breathe. This is a tight little gap. He's coming. I'm going to just sit here like this so that I don't block the view. He's coming right on this animal pathway of Johan, who's waiting patiently and has been waiting patiently. Here he comes. You can see him slowly. So we just want to keep out of his shot so he's got some nice clear pictures. We're going to come right out next to the car. Now, he's definitely not afraid of the vehicles. That's for sure. Hello. Just glancing at us very quickly. Oh, wow. There you go. Just going around. Looks like he's got an injury in his top right shoulder. I don't know if you can see there. Something's going on over there. Oh, that's a bit late now. I think I saw a cut or something. Just on that top, not right, top left, sorry. It didn't look anything too serious. Maybe just a scratch of sorts. Perhaps from an altercation. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't have one or two altercations. And he's just going past another vehicle. I have to turn the car on with this hand now. We'll try back. Oh, I need to go out of 4x4. Sorry. Hiya! Okay. Morning! There we go. Just waving to Johan. I'm not sure who I'm sending you away from, but I've got a blockade of cars now. We'll try and zip around once again to get another view, but off you go to somebody somewhere on Djuma.
You say fairly good at it. I think I'm brilliant at it. But Brent would say otherwise, but because I get stuck all the time. But everybody, it seems like that hyena, in fact, was Comet. The clan male. So now what is very interesting in fact is that, okay, what has happened? Hukumuri, she was here with one of the other vehicles. I tell you what, if Taylor wasn't following Hukumuri, and I didn't and I didn't know that she was in the area. We were following Comet, and Comet was doing really strange backwards and forwards, and we were wondering what in the world he was up to. Kept on putting his nose down, sniffing, and then turning around and running up and down. And I tell you, he would have led us straight to Hukumuri, because we popped out when Taylor called us in. She said she had hurt her hand and she couldn't carry on off-roading, so she asked if we would take over. So we came in, and we then spotted Comet, who was right near to Hukumuri. So that is very interesting, and exactly what I was saying earlier, how if you follow a hyena, they can lead you to all sorts of different places, and you might find lion and leopard and all sorts of different animals. So I'm going to stick with that theory now. It's just been proved by a little comet. Amanda, good question. The hyenas, I would say, they do present themselves as more dog-like, and I would have to lean towards more being like a dog. But yeah, it's a tough one. I would tend to say that, but other people would say more like a cat. Now, speaking of a cat, we've got Hukumuri. He's just up ahead, but he's on the move. He is marking as we go, so that's why I'm just continuing. You might get a fleeting visual every now and then, but we're just trying to stay up behind him. And we've got one of the other game viewers here. I met Johan just a couple of days ago, and he's the guide in front with the guests driving just behind Hukumuri, but also respectfully, and a very nice chap indeed. So, Hukumuri, yes, we haven't seen him for about 10 days. It's been a while, and I've never been out with him on drive, so this is a first for me. The ones that I have been with, I think, is Hosana, Tingana, Tandi, and Shudulu. This is the first time with this particular cat. So I'm starting to learn the different individuals slowly. Yeah, it's obviously spending more time with them and knowing the different traits and characteristics. I think I could pick up Shudulu quite easily now, because I spent that full day with her, just about. And also know just from her, the way that she operates, how she's so mobile, and, you know, that kind of age that she is actually brilliant for a leopard. She's the perfect age. I like that kind of age where they're around that about 3 years old, and full of life, full of energy, you know, running up a termite mound, walking along the road, jogging, jumping up a tree, you know, just chasing squirrels. It's fantastic. Where, like, for instance, Tangi, a little bit older, she'd walk a bit slower, you know, and just more of a lady, which is also great, but very different. I just like that very youthful exuberance. That's very interesting. Thank you, Crystal, who seems to be quite a hyena expert, saying that wasn't Comet. That's a male that hasn't been named yet. Wow. Let's add that one to the ID kit, and let's see if we can get a name out there sometime. Fantastic. I love finding animals that nobody's seen before. Pangolin. It's up to you. You sure? Okay, thanks. I can't see him for now. Just tell me if you see him. Sorry, Pangolin, I will answer your question now. I just need to catch up quickly with this leopard. Oh, there he is. I got him. So, pangolin, yes, there are other ways. You look for any kind of little notches on the ears, and you look for any kind of real physical trait that would be different. So, notches on the ears, or cuts on the face, etc. Then you also look at their spot pattern, and as I say, the spot pattern is if there's nothing really seriously characteristic about that animal, and then the spot pattern. So that's the most important. And he's gone flat. So let's just stop here, give him a chance just to relax. It's gone nice and flat there. What a beautiful leopard this is. It's a big male. Hukumuri. And I did watch a while ago when Noel, who has now left us, she had him when she had that double kill that morning. It was still part of the National Geographic show. And he killed a warthog, and then I think after that he tried to kill another warthog, but I think then he got a duiker, all in one morning's drive. So this could be wonderful for us. It seems a very efficient hunter. He's been walking now and marking as he's been going, and I think that's also quite a bit of marking. You know, when cats rub, they are also marking as well, rubbing their smell in onto the grass. Oh, he's on the move again. Let's follow him. See where he's off to. I think I might go around here, unless there is a gap there. Going into really long grass now. It's going to be quite tough to follow him. Let's just get through here quickly. Okay, everyone, while I try to catch up with Hukumuri, and in the long grass here, there he is, he's just in front, but let's head you on over to James, who's also walking through the long grass. Well, everyone, it seems like he's just paused for the minute. Look at that beautiful light that is now shining on him. He's on the side of a termite mound. If he relaxes nicely, I will shift up also to give the guys behind me a nice view, but nicely relaxed there on the side of a termite mound. He's starting to groom a little bit, so I might just shift up a little bit. Let's go a little bit forward. This side over here. There we are. That's it. And we can get a much better view on him there. Just give the guys behind us a bit of space too. Obviously I can't go too close and disturb him. But you see that? He's not worried about us with the vehicles at all. Just wondering about the guys behind him. You see, we've got a wonderful short wheel-based vehicle. We can maneuver very easily in the thick bush, whereas a lot of these game viewers, they've got the long wheelbase, so they struggle a little bit more. They've got to do a lot more turning than, you know, reversing and turning and coming forward and stopping again. So there we are. There's another vehicle coming up next to us. And look how relaxed he is, hey? Romit, that's a fantastic question. I like it. What could we as humans learn from leopards? Well, you know, I think that we could learn how to live in balance with nature, not taking more than we need. Leopards generally use all the food, and they feed and they eat on all the meat that they sort of access or utilize. So they'll kill an animal and they'll store it up in a tree, and they'll come back and they'll eat all of it. And whatever gets left is generally eaten by hyenas and so on, and then they'll move off and go and do that again. And also, I would say, a little bit of solitude. It's good to enjoy being in wild places by yourself, to your thoughts. And you know, a lot of people have a leopard as their sort of spiritual self because of that kind of nature that they have, of being alone, being solitary. But they do seek out other leopards at times. It's like that relationship with Tingana and Hosana, which is quite unusual with leopards, but very interesting at the same time, that they do still seek company. But I would say the biggest thing that I would take from leopard is being in tune with nature and using not wasting anything, if I can say that. Beautiful setting. Lovely morning light as this leopard grooms himself. Probably one of the cleaner of all the cats. Lions aren't that particularly clean. Not as clean as leopard anyway. They don't groom as well as leopards do. They do groom, but I wouldn't say as well as leopards. These are absolutely beautiful. Look at that thick neck, all that power in the front quarters. That will enable Hukumuri to be able to carry those big prey, like big impala and maybe even young kudu up a tree while he's holding it in his jaws. So he needs a thick neck, he needs muscular front legs and shoulders. See how he licks his paw and then wipes it over his face? So obviously he can't get his tongue around to that area, so that's what he's doing there. As you see little house cats doing as well. Sort of lick there and make it wet and then wipe it over their face. So very high profile sightings are these with the leopard. And as I say, that not comet, the no-name hyena would have, I think, led us straight to Hukumuri if we weren't indicated by Taylor where he was. An hyena would be, especially a male like that, he'd be just following up behind a leopard like a jackal would, just in case there might be a couple of scraps of meat available. Opportunists to the max are hyenas, especially the males. They don't get to really feed off the clan kills, so they got to scavenge wherever they can. And this Hukumuri, definitely not a scavenger. I think he would chase somebody off a kill if he had the chance, but he's definitely a very good hunter himself. He can find his own food. It's just a shame that light's not hitting him like it's hitting there on the grass. He's already taking up a little bit in the shade. That's an indication of how hot it is already. The flies are out. It's still early in the morning, and as I said, today's going to be a scorcher, especially for this time of year. That mid-90s Fahrenheit, 32 or so, lower 30s Celsius. Oh, Stanley Cubed, as I call you now, you would probably put yourself in harm's way if you wanted to jump out and pet him. I think if you had to jump out right now, he'd probably run up that termite mound or possibly run away. But I wouldn't take a chance. He might just have you for breakfast. Stanley. You need to be careful with a cat like this. They look very cute, but they are killing machines. But I'm sure you know that. But yes, he does look like he's quite strokeable, isn't it? And luckily we won't be testing that theory. Looks like he's done his morning chore of marking. I wonder when last he fed. I heard that he was on Arethusa a couple of days ago, and he was on a kill. I don't know what the kill was, whether it was a duiker or an impala, but some of the other guides from Nkoro actually told me, and Kirsten telling me in FC that it might have been a warthog. So it seems maybe he's quite a good warthog hunter, because I saw that with Noel as well. So that's twice that he's hunted warthog, but well, it can fall a big part of a leopard's diet. So while we sit here and wait and see if Hukumuri gets up in this golden light, let's head you on over to Taylor, who's I think on the search for those big guys. Yes, well, everyone, he's gone on the move again, so which is always very exciting. And now I see what Taylor was talking about a little bit earlier, that seems like he's got an injury, because I can just see him limping a little bit. I think it was on the right front leg, if I'm not mistaken. So now he's just crossed the road, he's gone into the thick stuff again, but we will continue to follow. Always very exciting. Yes, yesterday I got stuck in that nice buffalo thorn, didn't I? But I found it a lot more difficult to get stuck on with the vehicle here in the Sabi Sands than in that very clayey mud that we get in the Masai Mara. This, for me, a lot easier to drive around here. And I understand this a lot better because of my experience in Namibia with very gravelly, sandy soil like this as well. Very much like what we see in the Mlolwati. That's pretty much what we drive on all day, every day in the Namib, having to very often deflate your tyres. And then in the northwestern area, a lot of rocky and muddy areas there can be. But generally it's in those dry river beds that we go looking for the elephants and the desert lions. Yeah, up front. He's still walking in front of us here a little bit. There he is, just beyond that bush. It looks like he's going to drop down into this drainage line. Colin, that's an interesting question. Would we be able to know if these guys are depressed? I think he's going for a drink. It's quite difficult to know. See that Franklin now getting bumped up by him. Let me just get a little bit closer so that we can actually see him drinking. Colin, you would actually just have to look at their body language, because generally in their face, it's not going to be telling you that. The expression is not as clear as it would be with humans, for instance. So yes, they can be depressed, especially if they're injured or anything like that. And I think it's a different emotion with them. It's more physically what they normally would be able to do. So let's just pull up here behind him. He's having a drink. Look at that. That's a wonderful shot, that. Having a very thirsty leopard there. See, and if we had to go there afterwards, very interesting tracks that he leaves right next to the water. And if you look very slowly and very closely at how his tongue goes out, and he actually grips the water with the top part of his tongue and then scoops it back. So quite difficult, the sipping part. So he's not sucking up the water, he's literally lapping it. Very much like dogs do as well, but putting the top portion of the tongue onto the surface of the water, and then it's not really a little bit of a scoop, but it's also just like that scientific, what is the name of it? I forget, but it's just grabbing it as opposed to scooping it. The ears a little bit flat, tail flicking slightly. Squirrels starting to alarm call now on the other side of the pond. As I say, those tracks are very interesting, because now you can have the whole part of the foot, the back foot, on the ground. That's the whole foot. See, right up to where you think that might be. That is where the ankle is there, which is normally raised off the ground. So that's why we say digitigrade, walking on the toes. Now the whole foot is on the ground. There's his foot there. But when he walks, then that ankle is raised. And you'll see once he stands up, you'll see what I mean. Venom, yes, the water is safe for them to drink. It looks a bit murky, but it's just got a few insects in it and so on, and a little bit of mix in there. So, I don't know what is set up there. Listen out. So he's rasping. That's a territorial call. Wonderful. That you almost feel it in your bones. Very different to that of a lion, but the very rasp call of a leopard. That is beautiful. Now he's moving off. He's had his drink. Okay, I think we're going to have to do some bundu bashing to catch up with him now. He's done his rasp. He's doing a bit of a spray. Let's see if we can catch up. In the meantime, let's head you on over to James, who's got a little home of someone. There's everyone, and we've got this Hukumuri still. And now he's on the move again. After he had his drink, he had a bit of a call. They're just following up slowly behind him. Do you have another game viewer in front of us? And they're obviously in charge of the lock, as we call it, the sighting at the moment. They've got guests with them. It's from Chitwa camp. And just try and see what he's up to. So just walking slowly along the road there. I'll just pull out and we'll just watch him a little bit from there. Sorry, I'm now making it a bit skew now. Let's just see from here. We'll catch up again in a minute. Also work a little bit as a team, you know, when we walk, when we follow leopards like this. It's nice because he just disappeared through the bushes now, and between the two of us, you know, we were able to follow up with him. Lovely tracks going down the road now as well. There, he's just heading. Now, sorry, I just had a breakup of communication there, so I'm just going to ask them to repeat that question. I see there's a question coming through. Now, Sky, Hukumuri is a few kilometers away from Tingana, and he's pretty much moving in a different direction. So he's not in his direct vicinity at all. Stop here, let everybody have a nice view. Now he's going through the thick stuff. So he's not going to be seeing Hukumuri anytime soon. And he's doing what leopards do. They mark with their back legs as he's spraying. He may be defecate now as well. Johanna, are you going to leave?
I'm going to put out 4 hours.
Okay. Are you sure? Thanks very much, eh? Thanks, folks. Okay, I'm going to follow up on him. Everyone? Ali, I think he's also quite far away from Tingana that even that rasp wouldn't have been heard by Tingana. I think it's a little bit too far for that. That call can travel quite large distances, but I doubt whether he would have been able to hear that. It's just a little bit too far out on Mamba Road from here. It's about 3 or 4 kilometers at least. So Let's just stop here and watch. He's calling again. Hukumuri. See how he's bumping up all those Franklin? Wow, that was amazing, everybody. Hearing that call again, hey? So that's the noise that we're listening for when we walk through the bush. And we obviously listen out for that when we're walking and when we're driving. So then we follow up on that. So you see now he's going to mark a bit, rubbing his face and then spraying. So he's on patrol. Maybe it's because he's come back into the area again. No, there was an alarm call of an impala. He shows a bit of interest, but it's a bit far away from him for it to be alarming at him. Wonder what he's going to get up to. Alright, everyone, I'm going to now start up and head up behind him. Before we lose visual, we need to stay pretty close, huh? He's heading along a nice game path, marking all the way as he goes. Ooh, some animals running in front of him. Okay, so we're going to keep walking up behind him. He did have a look, but those animals ran off in front of him, so I don't think he's hunting just yet. But don't worry, if I get any kind of signal that he is going to hunt, I'm going to make sure that everybody comes back to me immediately. Okay, so while I follow up behind him here, I think we can head on over to James, who is still out on foot. Shame, James. It seems you're a little bit jealous there, are we? Well, look at this. Hukumuri is like attacking this bush. He's marking it quite vociferously, if that's a word. And he is really announcing his presence now that he has returned into the area. After he went on his happy travels out into the other concessions. Oh, there we are. He's just laid down. I think if I move forward, would you have is it forward or back? It might not be. A little bit back. Okay, let me try going slightly backwards. Can't really see nicely there. Just try to get a nicer view there for you. Trying to frame him just past that. Well, a little bit better. Anyway, let's just watch him there for a little while. Beautiful cat. And so you would be identifying these different individual cats. Specifically, okay, you look at, once again, like we were saying with the hyena, you look for any specific traits, any kind of spot patterns and so on the body that would really stand out, any kind of injury, any neck marks around the face, on the ears, and then later on, if you can't identify by anything specific like that, then you start going in close on those spot patterns around the whiskers. And then you get the different ratios from one side to the other, which is now hidden behind the log. There, to the left, it's got 3 there. I think it's 3-3, if I'm not mistaken, with Hukumuri. I quite easily be wrong, but that's how you do identify it. I just know that this guy is one of the biggest male cats around. Quite easily, and that's standout characteristic. But you can tell me if I'm wrong. I haven't got my little notepad here. I need to get it out.
Dale, it is quite possible that he could develop a rather large dewlap. We'll have to wait and that will be seen. But not necessarily, but it is well possible. They don't always do that, but it is definitely possible that he may, as he ages, get that dewlap. See, because also, I mean, you think, if you're a very muscular person, later it can, as you age, it can become a little bit saggy as your muscles sort of withdraw a little bit. And that can quite easily happen with leopards as well. As he ages a bit, then the muscles withdraw a little bit, but the skin sort of has stretched in that area, and then he starts to develop that kind of dewlap around the chest area. There's one or two other vehicles coming in now. That's what you're hearing. So thank you, James Richard. And so I didn't look at the spot pattern out of any book or anything. I just looked straight directly at his face, and it's been confirmed that he is the spot pattern ratio 3-3. His left-hand side, also 3 dots at the top. So once that's how you go into getting a very difficult leopard to identify. You start looking at that spot ratio, and then you can even go on to, if that is the same as another leopard, you could even go on to the next of the lines as well. And I think they go into sort of A, B, C, D, E, F, G type, really getting intricate into those little spot patterns there. And also a lot of the time people look at rosettes sort of around the shoulder patches here and see what kind of little shapes they make. You see that one there making like a little bit of a diamond, a little bit lower right on his shoulder. There's a diamond type shape there. That could be used, you know, anything kind of specific. And Kirsten's saying she can see a heart. And a lot of people would say that because they love these cats. So, you know, a little patterns like that, that's what we're looking for. And each cat has got a different pattern, very much like our fingerprints. And Hukumuri obviously got his own specific traits and characteristics. So 3-3, the spot ratio around his whiskers, and then he's got, as I can see there, a little diamond, and Kirsten saying a heart. There we go. On the left-hand corner, there's now right in the middle, there's a heart. Not sure if that's the one she was talking about, but exactly. Each individual will have a particular kind of spot pattern. And the rosettes going further down the body would also be different in each different cat. Obviously, if you take photos and things, you can very easily compare them to a different leopard. But when you're just looking at it directly like this, you need to obviously just try and use these very easily identifiable features. So, well, he's rested up nicely just next to a little pan. So, yes, I think we'll just stay here, and hopefully Hukumuri gets up and maybe chases something down. But while we're waiting for him to do something, let's head you on over to James and see if he's done anything. Yes, everyone, well, unfortunately, I think this is our boundary line. This is the road called Triple M, and, well, he's just left. So unless he now turns back, this might be the last we see of him this morning. And he's heading towards that road there, so we might get a nice clear view on him. But I think we might be out of luck that he's headed now back into an area that we may not traverse. Let's have a last watch on this wonderful male leopard that is Hukumuri. Whether or not he continues along that road remains to be seen, but it looks like he is heading directly up there. Carol, interesting question that you've asked there and posed about their territories and how it is determined. Well, it's mostly determined around other leopards, as you've mentioned, but like for a male like this Hukumuri, he's obviously quite a big male, so he's not going to worry too much. And here comes this vehicle taking over here, so they're allowed to go in there. Enjoy, folks. Okay, so it will be determined about other males, but they'll also mostly around the resources, what food there is available, and they'll obviously try and establish a territory where there's a lot of food, lots of impala, lots of warthog, lots of duiker, and lots of water, because the water generally brings the animals, a good feed for the animals, and then that obviously brings the predators with it. So it's like a whole geomorphological scientific basis to that, and it's all interlinked. So the best soil will produce the best grass and trees, vegetation will produce the best prey species, which in turn produces the best areas for predators. So yeah, there's a whole lot of related factors that are involved there. Well, we've had a wonderful morning with Hukumuri. I think we need to start up and go and see what else we can find. And while we head off down the road,